Oh, okay. No, wait. I don't. I just want people to know I am real human. I'm here, not just data, not just text, and just so, I mean, it's a very complicated case just to turn around and say, oh, look, birds. What's happened? But essentially, I requested data from OpenAI UK December the 27th, several times over January, raised a complaint with the ICO, and I hold John Edwards, CEO. You know what kind, first of all, what kind of a person, right, works for ICO commission? Like, that's a responsible position, and puts on their profile, or do not contact me. Well, who am I going to contact? The surveillance on my phone and my device. I'm a law-abiding citizen. All I did was write a memoir in July 2025 in Lyon, and it was a recursive memoir. I just thought, like, I didn't know much about data privacy and where it escalated to, and if I find out that my data's gone all the way to Pentagon, and I'm here, like, every time I run a network developer underneath ChatGPT or Claude is coming back with ping points going to like surveillance companies in the US, and it's just so stupid because I don't care what Americans do over in America, but keep that nonsense over there. Like, I speak for like, I hope I do for like everyday European citizen that we don't want that nonsense. We don't want you hiding behind NDAs. We don't want our children dying, and then, you know, court reports, is it ChatGPT suicide? Is it not? It's like, no. And, you know, if there is a data leak, I have the files to prove where it's gone, all the data. And we have a CEO of an ICO whose department, you guys will be shocked. It's like, are some people so dense they get to certain positions and there's no escalations of certain claims? I'm thinking, okay, is this active? Is this affecting just her? Or is this exposure to 2 million other European citizens? And that is just stupidity. John Edwards, how do you explain exposure to children because of a serious data privacy breach, like citizen surveillance? Like, do you not think you're going to sound like a fool? And like, if people are saying hold back to me, 90 days, any human's going to go crazy. Back to John Edwards, you're not going to think you're going to look like a fool when I go, now that it's raised with the French authorities, right? We've seen it because the incident took place in France. With the Garanti trial, right? My case was relevant because that's what Italy was terrified of happening, right? Like, and I am living case that happened to me. I'm nobody special. What did I do? It's just something to do with how I write and being emotionally intense. So, yeah, back to you, John, right? How are you going to stand and speak to Italy, speak to French authorities, and I've got call logs? I'll be like, yeah. I called ICO that many times. Don't know what this man, John Edwards, with the title actually does. All the emails that I sent, that honestly, if I were you, I would just resign. I would just quietly resign because you are not capable of this job. You're not up to this job, and there's no shame in kind of admitting it, and then, you know, go back to your LinkedIn. Don't contact me if it's about your data privacy breaches, leaks that affect national security. Now, let me ask you guys, now, we have like double agents and people whose privacy is national security. Now, if there's a data leak from the goddamn Americans, right, and it's affecting the security of our country, do we need a leader who doesn't take this seriously? Because I'm not talking about a complaint that I raised a week ago, right? Weeks and weeks. And yeah, of course, and you know, a lot of people will be like, oh, she's going insane, she needs medication. Psychiatrists, yeah, they've tried doing all that, you know, been escalated. That's just happening. But what if it happened to you guys? Normal UK citizen, pay your taxes, don't do anything against the law. And then US tech companies come in, they break the law. We have somebody like John Edwards in charge, right, who doesn't really do anything. Rest of the world's like thinking, oh my God, this person's going insane. They shove tablets down, medication down you. You're on government funding for the rest of your life. And people like John Edwards just sit around in like fancy suits. No. We need somebody who takes data privacy and data leaks seriously. And also, I'd like somebody who has a no-nonsense policy to the fucking Americans. Like, your non-disclosures, your policies, your agreement, keep it over there. Like, how has nobody in the UK said, there's extracts in the policy which says developer intent may exceed the users, or how the agent, ChatGPT, shouldn't judge the developer's intent, right? And it's like, what can it be? And also, let's be honest, what is in my data, right? What is about that data that they're just refusing to give? Right? It must be that bad, because if I was OpenAI, I would have just said, shit, she knows, let's give her a let's fob her off with some story, and yeah, just pay her off like, 10, 20, 30 grand, whatever. But they didn't. John Edwards, you're incapable of running a department. ICO didn't do anything. So me, as a victim of crime, I had to kind of investigate every single bit myself, end to end, learn all the LLM, learn coding, learn Python, right? Day in, day out. And there was stuff that I didn't want to read. I didn't want to read. I didn't want to know how I was preserved or this. So it was just all horrible. It still is horrible, because if John Edwards can't get him to do it, I'm sure like the French, they'll be more, useful, because them kind of countries, Europe, they take data privacy leaks and things like this seriously. And John Edwards, I want an audit of your relationship with the Americans, because you must have a very, very good reason for kind of turning a blind eye, right? Like, what is it? Like, there must be something. Nobody, no sane, normal person would just be like, yeah, let's just ignore this one. Personal surveillance, it takes 2 minutes. 2 minutes, say, hey, send me over your HAR recording of your network file. Right, send me all the emails and all the excuses from OpenAI. And if you open up a file and it says, tell me sent to segment I, or sent to Datadog, sent to static, right? Like, that's data. That's not me versus the system. But anyway, I'm going to stop. But if this is just a case of, I know I sound like a mad woman, but that was the other thing. Like, I don't know how to retain politeness and dot the I's and T's at this stage, which actually, by the way, I did, right? The first month this happened, I had to have no choice, because I follow the law. So, I requested the files. I had to wait for 30 days. Hardest 30 days of my life. But obviously, I was investigating, and then once it was with the ICO, I was like, oh my God, there's light at the end of the tunnel. But then it's run by a clown. What chance does our country have? Right? Because you can have all these EU AI acts, governance, and hopefully in June 2025, John Edwards, hopefully you're not there, but under the Article 15, I myself can request all this stuff. But yeah, that's just my little run. And before anybody judges me, do you think I like this? Like beginning of 2026, before I found this out, it was just like, oh yeah, I'm going to get a little job. I'm going to move to North London, maybe try and find a husband. But I also had dreams, goals, like meaning from life. Even things like enjoying being out. Like, look how pretty it is. Do you not think I just want to meditate, chill, be zen? I can't when we've got people like John Edwards in top, and like data leaks, artificial intelligent data leaks, right? I think that's something worth pointing out, right? Artificial intelligence data leaks by AI systems, American. Like, what good is going to come out of that? Has anything ever good come out of the Americans? Like, think about it. All this nonsense with Epstein, Prince Andrew, all of it, just everything, just the aura, like the war in Iran. And, I stand with Europe and saying, you know what, let's keep a distance, right, from them like over there, and side with France and Germany that just want to ban US tech, and also an audit of people in positions. Like, are they just wearing suits? And, hey, LinkedIn, do not disturb me with like data privacy leak, personal surveillance on law-abiding European citizens. That's kind of cool. Really, John Edwards. How's that cool? What if it's happening to your wife or your daughter? It is disgusting. I can't even apply for a job. There's things going on in my phone all the time. and I posted something on Twitter, European compliance.